Hi guys, welcome to Hira. My name is Jamila. I talk faith, self-love, and any other thing in between. Today we are going into the in-betweens, and I would be talking to you guys or walking you through a typical Rindre wedding from North Central Nigeria. Before I go any further, I will just give you just a brief of the Rindre people. The Rindre people are primarily from Wamba local government of Nasarawa State, North Central Nigeria, also known as Middle Belt Nigeria. We are a wonderful, hospitable people. Sometimes, depending on who you ask, I am just kidding. Our religious beliefs ranges from Christianity, Islam, and traditional worship. We have a very good cordial relationship and belief, and respect for each other's beliefs. We tend to have a mix of different religions in one family, uncles, aunties, have been practicing different things and believing in different things. So I believe that has kind of helped. The respect, has helped in the way we live relatively in peace. We bear names such as Umbwa, Wamu, Wado, Jika, Inji, Tanze, Mapa, Manga, and so forth. And more recently, we also have started bearing names as such as Pare Bear, Pare Nai, and the rest. Pare means God, and so I think people are more recently, younger people are beginning to give their children names that have more meaning as against what we used to have with the Umbo as because till tomorrow I don't know the meaning of my name. I have asked and I have asked. My name is Umbua, but I don't know what it means. Okay, so we are known to farm cocoyam, cassava, and I can tell you we produce the best cassava flour in the world. Wamba Alibo is not to be joked with. I can say that with my full chest. I will do a more in-depth video of my people in another video. So our Rindre traditional wedding rites depends on what part of the local government you are, or what part of the Rindre you fall under. So not every Rindre person does it in the way I'm about to explain or in the way ours was done. And you would typically have people from Tsimbaki, Marabagongo, and others do it in this manner. So typically, young man meets young woman. He says, "Okay, I like you. I think I want you to be my wife and spend the rest of your life with me." I then have to go to meet your parents and just do the initial um, introduction, or so to speak, in make my intentions known. So for in our case, because our parents were already late at the time we were getting married, so it had to be done in our village, though it's still in our father's compound, but it was our uncles obviously who had to receive them. So in order not to make them go back and forth twice, because comparing the journeys and security and all that, it was just okay, these are the things you need to come with for the first greeting. So that's what they call it, like the initial greeting. It is in that greeting they will then give them the list with which they would go back and come back for other stages of the wedding. So in that first greet in phone conversation that they would have had to come, they were expected to bring Maltina, I think whether it's Amstel, but I know you're supposed to bring Maltina, and then maybe Star or Golda, one of those as well. So just to your initial greeting, which is typical. I believe you don't just go to people's houses or whatever without a drink or so. So that does not count as part of what you need to do, but it's expected that you do that. Then they would then give you the list, and this list is divided into three stages. You have the first stage, second stage, and the third stage. The first stage, they were expected to bring four giant goats. I am not kidding. There's giants in this list. It says four giant goats, two chicken, and then one hen, one carton of Guinness, carton of Gouda, star, 4 crate of Maltina, and then you have what they call Kudingeswa. So Kudingeswa means like your greeting money. So that's like the first one. You've come to our house, so well, you're greeting us. My sister's one was 30,000, so it was reviewed as of when my sister got married. So my sister's was 30,000. Then mine was 10,000, and then you have the second stage, and then you have the third stage. So for some people, they could actually merge the second and the third stage. In my sister's case, that was done because again, there was no point going back and forth if you could just do everything at once and then just get it sorted. So the second, third, and other stage. So the first stage they had to bring the goats. The goats had to be of standard because that was very important. If the goats were not of standard to their own standard, they would ask you to either add more money, which I think my husband's family, and that was the case for them with the goats. They said it wasn't giant enough. So my sister's husband learned from that, and then he made sure his goats were too giants to be rejected. Yes, so these pictures are from my sister's goats. I couldn't find the pictures from my own unacceptable goats. So and then everything had to be in order. So for the second stage, which then falls under the YK, they were to bring one. They said one biggest size basin of beans. So the beans is a particular kind of beans. There's kind of big sized um beans. One was just the beans, the second, and then cow lap. Then the second beans also had 40 pieces of meat. Then the other beans also had 10 pieces of meat. And the pieces is not like your tiny pieces. They had their own standard. They had to be big to an extent. And then you have bukutu, which is local brewed beer. And then you have kono, and then you have palm wine. So bukutu is 50 liters, kono 50 liters, palm wine 25 liters, and the pure natural oil 4 liters, and then for then the wedding proper itself, because now the second stage is not the wedding, it's just the things you need to bring for the wedding. So the wedding proper, they were to bring so the dowry, which would be they would have asked the girl, so we were asked, if my parents were still alive, my father would have asked us what we wanted him to take. So my uncles asked my sister and I remember at that time my uncles were not, some of my uncles were not really pleased with the amount I was asking for. Yeah, but that's what it was supposed to be. You're going to ask the girl because the money is supposed to be to be for her or the family, the father, whatever the father decides. But in our case, our dad was already late, so they collected it and then they gave me back the money. And then you had that stage you had one big cow lap, you have two on shinkafa, so rice, I don't know what they call tuwo in English, but it's tuwo, rice and stew, fried meat, one small basin, 3 carton of beer, Guinness, Gouda, Star, 3 crate of Maltina, and then you have Brukutu again 50 liters, Kunu another 50 liters, palm wine 25 liters, honey 4 liters, and then Kudin Salama 50,000 naira, and then you have the money for Matan Zuria, which was 20,000. The Kudin Salama is 50,000. That's Kudin Salama means like kind of bye money. I don't know how to translate that to English, but that's what you have for that stage. So as I said, my sister had to merge both her YK, which is her second stage, and then the other part, which is the proper wedding. After this was done, um and on that particular wedding day, there's no, it's like you don't fix a time, so to speak. It is whenever the husband's family is ready that they will bring it, but obviously they are expected to come in the afternoon also. So while on that particular day the bride, myself, my sister were preparing, they were also preparing to come with the things they were supposed to bring. So when they then bring all these things, then the negotiations with both families will start. Not necessarily negotiations. They will then look at these things that they've asked them to bring. Are they of standard? So you have people who are kind of, that's their job to make sure that these things are of standard, maybe in your clan or in someone else's clan, but they have been tasked with checking that these things are of standard, so that you're not accepting something from this particular family that is less and then accepting from that family that is not. So I think regardless of whatever your financial status is, I think it is supposed to be that there's a standard and everybody's supposed to adhere to that standard. So because we were told there were no negotiations sincerely, and they stuck to their word. When they felt that the things were not up to standard, they were going to be asked to pay a certain amount of money to cover up for it. I remember, as I said earlier, in my own first stage, they said our goat was not up to standard, so my husband's family had to top up or top it up, or my husband had to top it up to get to the standard they wanted. I think during my sister's vetting or whatever you would say as well, there was something they felt was not up to standard. They also had to pay or for them to accept it. If not, they were not going to accept it. And that those kind of dramas that would then drag on and on and on. But hopefully, thankfully, they were able to sort that in good time. So my sister afterwards, so that's where kind of the YK and the thing ends. It's longer than I've explained it because it's a lot of back and forth. Do we have this? Do we have that? And then was accepted, was not accepted. Then the wife would then come and feed the beans that the family has brought. They would, after they've accepted it, and they're going to share it to the family members. So those in the clan, the Zuria people are the ones that are going to share those things. So it's not like you are going to come and eat and feast on it. No, the Zuria is going to share the meat, share everything they would have brought. But the wife will still get to come and feed her husband with the beans that was brought. And then so that basically ends that excuse me that basically ends that part of it. So afterwards they will then dance because the husband's people expect to bring dancers to the bride's home. We didn't do that, but my sister, that was done for my sister's wedding, or YK as we would call it. And then afterwards, she then had her send forth. So send forth is typically what we do in mostly. I don't know if other parts of the north do it, but I know the north central, a good number of them do send forth. So your family will want to send you forth, as the name implies, to your husband's home. They would pray for you. You'll dance. If your husband comes, he doesn't have to, but most husbands come to kind of come and support the send forth because it's just like your own family telling you bye bye, and they would come and support. Your husband's family too would come and then celebrate with you. And it doesn't really mean anything. As I said, the husband's family had not really, it's not like their own thing. It's your own and your family thing. They are just coming to support. So nothing in that place concerns them. So when that is then done, and again, as I said, it's not everybody who does it, but some do, some don't. I didn't do it, but some do and some don't because it was done for my sister because my auntie kind of insisted that, and my family members wanted that to happen. So that was done. Then when that is done, you will then have the final stage, which is called Gara. So what we usually do is they would send. So typically, when a girl is going to her husband's home, they would kind of help you furnish your house as you're going. So I don't know if it's an assumption or it's just that we want you to go to your husband's home with your own things. So they are making chairs for her, they are buying kitchen utensils, they are making beds, giving you food, so that when you go to your husband's home, like you're coming into your husband's home with all these things. Yeah, so basically that's another it's not necessarily a celebration, but you're also going to be cooking and all that. So I think that place where they said the final stage, that is what is really used for entertainment or for people to come and gather and eat during the gara. So people are bringing their own things. So everybody from the family, your clan, the Zuria as a whole, will bring different things. So prior to accepting all these other things, they would have apportioned each other. You're going to bring this for her, you're going to bring that for her, and all that stuff. So that's how um it ends, and then you will take all those things to your husband's home. So wherever you take it to, it's your problem, but they have given you as their own responsibility to you. I hope I have been able to explain this as clear as entertaining enough. And if you have I'd like to hear from you if you're from Nasarawa State or from any other place, how yours is done that is different from kind of the normal weddings not normal, the more popular traditional weddings that we see around. All right, guys, until I see you guys some other time, have a blessed day. Bye bye.